Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Weirding Way Media.
Bruce Springsteen once sang, "I'm looking for a lover who will come on in and cover me." But was he speaking metaphorically? After all, this is a man whose songs have been covered an amazing 424 times according to WhoSampled.com by such artists as Johnny Cash, Tegan and Sara, and Minnie Driver. Discovering a cool cover of a favorite song or by a favorite artist can mean everything to music nerds like us. But what makes a good cover song? And what are some of our most and least favorite cover songs of all time? Tonight, the Noise Junkies take on cover songs. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Noise Junkies. I am in the captain's chair this week. I am HP, and with me is the wonderful Heather Drain from Mondo Heather. Heather, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to dig and dive into the subject matter at hand.
Also on the Weirding Way Network from such podcasts as Dark Destinations is my good friend, Father Malone. Father Malone, how are you this evening?
I'm covered in something. I'm not sure what it is.
Glory, perhaps?
Yeah, okay. Glory doesn't smell like this.
This week we are covering cover songs, every pun intended there. Very exciting. But first, as we do every episode, we're going to first do a little show and tell. We're going to talk about what we're listening to lately. Heather, why don't we start with you? What are you listening to lately?
Oh my gosh. I always have to narrow it down because I'm just a total musical omnivore and continually voracious. But one song and one album has definitely been blessing my audio experience more than most. One is a totally new artist for me named Azar Swan, which is basically this dark synth pop out of Brooklyn. It's mainly just this one artist with occasional collaborations from her producer, but her song Over is so beautiful. I don't know, makes me think of the show Forever Night. And I don't even know if that would make sense to anybody but me, but it's just very evocative and just seems it's just like something you would hear at 3 a.m, having some emotional angst, possibly with vampires. The song isn't about vampires. I tend to just like to add vampirism to things in my head because it's fun, but it's a beautiful, just a nice little shadowy, evocative pop song. And it's great. You can hear it on Spotify. She also has a band camp. does our lovely host HP. So anybody listening to this, please feel free to check him out and support him. But the second, which is an album, and this is a band that I love fiercely. I even did an article about them years ago for Dangerous Minds, and that is the Gleaming Spires and their album Walk on Well-Lighted Streets. The Spires' 3-album discography recently got a beautiful re-release and remaster courtesy of Omnivore Records, and these releases are cherried out. And this is great because until recently, none of these albums were ever available on CD. And some of the great highlights, they have a lot of bonus tracks, including their songs Funk for Children.
No argument, no mistake. Got to milk that riff, for goodness sake. I just preliminary, my second guess. Say funk for children, gonna catch on next.
Which there was a music video made for it, but I don't think it was ever a single. It's a bonus track. It's not even on this album proper. And their song Brain Button, which is a really catchy tune. You can hear it in, I believe, the Dark Brothers, Devil and Mrs. Jones 3 and or 4. Like the Gleaming Spires have music that pop up in those movies, as well as, of course, most people know them for Are You Ready for the Sex Girls, which is in Revenge of the
Nerds.
Yeah, I love that. I love that song.
The real Sex Girls?
Nobody's ready for the sex girls.
Are you ready for the sex girls? The hot, lead, hot, big, hot girls. Are you ready for the sex girls? The right, ultra vital, nice girls. They play pool in your house and take off their own clothes. They can talk about love 'cause they know where it goes. They are
Spires are a really incredibly underrated band, and I think definitely worth some time. A lot of angst, biting wit, satire. No other band like them. And come on, the core duo of Les Bohem, David Kendrick were on some of the Sparks' best albums too.
Well,
so
then I'll check it out now, I guess.
Yeah, you better if you know it's good for you.
It'll make it to the Spotify playlist for those listeners following the show. We'll have a nice playlist. You can check out all these tunes and more. Father Malone, what are you listening to lately?
Your mileage may vary on this particular artist, but I've been listening to her 4th album, which is called The Idler Wheel is Wiser Than the Driver of the Screw, and Whipping Cords Will Serve You More Than Ropes Will Ever Do, which is a much more brief title than her 2nd album, which was When the Pawn Hits the Conflict, He Thinks Like a King. It's Fiona Apple. For a while there, she held the world record for the longest album title. I was on tour for 2 weeks once in the Pacific Northwest, and I had a USB with about 15,000 songs on it. And with rare exception, this was the album I was listening to. This is about 8 or 10 years ago, so I'm kind of re-examining Fiona Apple. She's always been a ferocious lyricist. The music has never been secondary to that, but as far as pop standards goes, she wasn't going to get much better than that 2nd album.
When I think of it, my fingers turn to fists. I never did anything to you, man. No matter what I try, you beat me with your bitter lies. So call me crazy, hold me down, make me cry. Get off now, baby. It won't be long till you be lying left in your own hands.
Her songwriting, specifically the music, catches up with her lyrics on this album, I thought. And there are no singles here. It's all discordant, and there's minor key stuff. There's a song in there with nothing but timpani and combative harmonies.
If I'm better than he's a hot knife, he makes my heart awesome. Most of dancing for paradise. He excites me, must be like the genesis of rhythm. I get feisty whenever I'm with them.
There's the sound of what I think is a bottling plant used as a backbeat at one point. Oh, and a bridge on one tune is completely layered with what turns out to be a recording of children playing in a playground. But for listeners who don't know that, it just sounds like a horrifying scene of murder.
And I could liken you to a lot of things, but I always come around. Cause in the end, I'm a sensible girl. I know the fiction of the fix, but you are such a super guy till the second you get away from me. We're like a wishing well and a bolt of electricity.
They did release a single which went nowhere called Every Single Night, which is haunting and gorgeous and beautiful. And that you're also going to hear on the Spotify playlist.
That's where the pain comes in, like a second skeleton trying to fit beneath the skin. I can't fit the feelings in, no, every single night's a light with my brain.
It falls to me to talk about what I've been listening to. And among other things, I've been listening to an album. It's by Mort Garson, which is a favorite of myself and Heather. This is a brand new, I was caught off guard. I did not know this was coming out. This is an album called Journey to the Moon and Beyond. It's the latest in a years-long reissue campaign of Garson's music by the Sacred Bones label. This is a carefully curated album, selections from what is apparently a massive archive. He has a vault somewhere in Mort Garson where they're eagerly going through and transferring everything to digital probably and putting out these collections. There's been a couple of collections. They also put out his album Plantasia, which was a big cult record. For this record, the main draw is a track called Moon Journey, which is a 6-minute synthesizer composition that CBS commissioned Garson to soundtrack the moon landing. So an estimated 650 million people heard Garson's music as the moon landing captured the nation's attention. I think that is fantastic.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was thought to have been lost, but I guess as they were going through the masters, this archival vault, they found it and were much the better for it. Also on this set is a song called Black Eye, main theme, which was another surprise for me. This was apparently Garson composed the music for a 1974 blaxploitation movie starring Fred Williamson. This is very much just a theme song in the spirit of Shaft or Black Caesar, things like that. Also, there's a lot of non-electronic compositions here, but plenty of Moog stuff to make folks like me happy. So here's hoping that they're eventually going to get around to remastering Wazard of Iz. Got my fingers crossed.
Oh my God, yes.
Now, it falls to me. I'm very excited about this. We started a little tradition last episode with games, with a little, I think, Heather, you had a little guessing game or word association game. This week, in the spirit of the theme of covers, I have created a game called Is It a Cover? Very creatively titled, Is It a Cover? I'm going to give you guys a song title and an artist, and you're going to have to tell me, is it a cover or is it not a cover? And bonus points if you correctly guess that it's a cover. Give me as much info on the original artist as you can. Okay, is everybody ready?
Do we have to buzz in? Or are you going to ask us specifically? The time limit? What are the rules here?
How about you raise your hand and I'll call on you?
Okay, I prefer a buzzer, but okay.
Sorry, the buzzer got lost by FedEx. I shipped one out to both of you, and apparently you never received it, so we're left to just raise our hands. How about that?
Do you have the tracking number?
The song Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting by Elton John, 1973. Is it a cover or is it not a cover? Father Malone.
It is not a cover.
I am also going to say it's not a cover.
You are both right. It is not a cover. Of course, it was off of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, his Monster album. Not a cover. Number 2, Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus in 1992.
Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. I just don't think he'd understand.
Heather, you got in just ahead.
It's a cover.
It is a cover. Very good. And I'm going to play you a little bit of it right here. Actually, before I do that, do you know anything about the original artist?
Not really. I know it's a lesser known artist, and I want to say it came out in the 80s.
It did not. It was originally written by someone named Don Von Tress. It was recorded a year prior by a group called the Marcy Brothers under the title Don't Tell My Heart. And we have a little bit of it right here.
Don't tell my heart, my achy breaking heart. I just don't think he'd understand. Cause if you tell my heart, my achy breaking heart, he might blow up and kill this man.
Whoa! What was with the fade out?
Welcome to production. That's me.
It got psychedelic there.
I had to make it interesting.
I like it.
Just a straight cut off was not going to do. So so as you can hear, there's really not much difference between the original and the cover. There's some lyrics that are
breaking heart, achy breaking heart, not achy breaky.
Oh, also there was backwards masking in the original version.
Here's to my sweet Satan. Is that what they're saying?
No, it says say hi to Lucille at Waffle House.
So there's some lyrics are different, but ultimately it's really just the same song. Okay. Number 3, The First Cut is the Deepest by Rod Stewart, 1977.
First cut is the deepest. Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest.
That's a cover.
Heather, do you have a guess?
No. I gotta be honest.
You don't have a guess. Well, Father Malone, you are correct. Do you know anything about the original artist? See, this was a little bit of a trick because everybody, I think most people know the Sheryl Crow version that came out maybe 10, 15 years ago. It's a little bit of a trick there, but Father Malone, what can you tell me about the covered artist, if anything?
Who are 3 people who have never been in my kitchen?
Close. This was written by, of all people, Cat Stevens.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. And it was recorded by a woman named P.P. Arnold in 1967. So a full 10 years before it became a hit for Rod Stewart. Interestingly,
what's that name again?
P.P. Arnold.
P.P. Arnold?
Yeah, and we're so mature
Arnold?
here. Yeah. So she started out. All right, give me a minute here. I'll give Heather a minute here to
I'm listening.
compose
I'm sorry.
herself.
Listen. My inner child is Beavis. I have never denied this on any show known to man. PP, like literally.
Initials P. Period. P. Period.
I'm sorry.
Let me introduce you to Kat.
I'm sorry. Listen. I'm not that sorry. I mean, shame is for the weak, but I apologize, HP. Please tell us about
Mrs. Arnold, in fact. Interestingly, she started out as an Ikette before striking out as a soul singer in her own right. And here's a little bit of the original First Cut is the Deepest.
First cut is the deepest. Baby, I know. First cut is the deepest. 'Cause when it comes to being lucky, he's good. When it comes to loving.
It's very much in the Motown mold.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Which I think is fantastic.
The
You
way
got your HP fade.
I love the HP fade. Well,
There's a lot of that here.
I apologize to Miss Arnold because that was actually, I enjoyed that. What a beautiful singer.
It's a great. I actually prefer that, to tell you the truth, to the Rod Stewart. It's just tougher. It's got great production, and she sings the hell out of it. I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner from 1984.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me.
Father Malone.
Not a cover.
Heather?
It's not a cover.
It is not a cover. You're absolutely right, both of you. This is Heart with Alone.
How do I get you alone? That's a cover.
Heather?
I thought it was an original, but I'm not a fan of that era of Heart, so yeah, I'm not sure.
So you're saying cover, not a cover?
I don't know, man. I guess not a cover. I mean, but Father Malone's super smart, so he's probably right.
Father Malone, you are correct.
See.
It was written by Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly and released by a band called I-10 on their album Taking a Cold Look in 1983. So
Play some.
Here we go.
And now it's Tuesday to the bar. How do I get you alone?
So if you heard the whole song, it's a little bit extended. There's an extra bridge in there, here and there, but very much a very similar song. It's just Heart made it their own and made a big hit out of it. It was a huge hit for them. The next one is You're No Good by Linda Ronstadt, 1974.
I wanna say it again. You're no good, you're no good, you're no good. Baby, you're no good.
Oh, that's a cover. That's a cover.
Did you raise your hand, sir?
No, I don't need. We're talking Linda Ronstadt. I don't need to raise my hand. Sorry.
All right.
Linda Ronstadt rank here.
Heather, do you have a counterpoint?
No, I mean, he's right.
All right, then you are right, Father Malone, but what can you tell me about the original?
There is no need to know anything about the original. It's Linda Ronstadt's there at the end.
See, that's where you're wrong. The original was written by someone named Clint Ballard Jr. and recorded by Dee Dee Warwick, Dion's sister, in 1963. And here's a little taste of that.
I learned my lesson, it left a scar. But now I see how you really are. You're no good, you're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good. Hey, oh, hey, you hear what I'm saying?
So another nod to Motown, basically, as was the prevalent sort of musical style at the time. It's very different, though. I like when these covers come out of nowhere. You've heard them all your life, and you're like, wow, I never knew there was an original. Next one, Just Like Paradise by David Lee Roth, 1987.
This must be just like living in paradise.
Oh my God, I love him. Oh, hold on.
Yes, Heather.
I'm going to say not a cover.
Father Malone?
Oh, that's tough. I think it is a cover.
You think it is a cover?
Yeah.
Well, you, sir, would be wrong. It is not a cover. I thought it was just odd enough. I could see, because he does a lot of covers. Obviously, he did Just the Gigolo. They did the Diver Down album had a bunch of covers. No. Final one, last one, is Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes.
She got Betty Davis eyes, and she'll tease you, she'll unease you, all the better just to please you. She's precocious, and she knows just what it takes to make a pro blush. She got Greta Garbo, standoff size. She's got Betty Davis eyes.
Father Malone.
That's a cover.
Heather?
I honestly had no idea. I'm going to go with Father Malone because he's got that big brain of his, but I do say my favorite version of that song is the buckwheat version.
No,
Yeah.
So you are both, you did the right thing by following Father Malone's lead. It is indeed a cover. This one is perhaps the most fascinating to me. I'm going to play you a little bit of this. Bearing in mind, obviously, the Kim Carnes version is iconic. We all know it. We all
This is
saw
a
it on
dude,
MTV.
right? It's a guy, right?
No, this was written by Jackie DeShannon, who was
Oh,
a
wow.
woman. And it was released in 1974, which is a full 7 years before Kim Carnes made it a hit. Here's a little bit of that.
She's got dedicated eyes, and she'll tease you, she'll unleash you all the better.
Wow.
Just to please you, she's precocious, and she knows just what it takes to make a
This one was by far the most surprising because it started apparently as kind of a rocking little bluesy number. And Kim Carnes, unfortunately, I don't know who did the production on that record, but she totally changed it around and made it her own. But yeah, I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, that was
version.
fun to hear. I had never heard it. I knew it was a cover, but had never heard the original.
I did not. And by the way, because of my poor production skills, I had to throw away. I was going to do New York Groove, but I'm sure Heather already knew that was a cover.
Of course,
I'm sure she
man.
did.
Come on. The Spaceman is my favorite member of Kiss.
The biggest surprise there is that version is literally no different at all from the Ace Frehley version. Like if I played it for you, you would just go, oh, that's just Ace Frehley. It just sounds exactly the stomping beat. Everything is exactly the same. So very good. Thank you for playing along with me. Maybe some of you folks at home learned a little thing or two about covers, as I did. So let's get into this initial discussion here. What makes a great cover song? Is it fidelity towards the original? Or is it better to just be completely irreverent and tear it apart, build it back up, and make it your own? Or is the answer somewhere in the middle? I want to start with Father Malone. What do you think makes a really good cover song, in your opinion?
I think the covering artist has to interpret it in their own style or a new style of their choosing, or what's the point? If you're not going to switch it up, then I don't find any interest in it.
And I agree. I think, and we'll get to this when we talk about some of our most and least favorite covers, but obviously, if you're going to be completely slavishly dedicated to the original, then to your point, there really is no point. All you're doing is basically making a karaoke version with a brand new set of vocals that maybe don't even sound that much different from the original. So I agree. I love it when an artist, to a degree, I guess, but I do love it. Put it this way, I appreciate it when an artist puts completely their stamp on it and makes it an original. It doesn't mean that I love the song or their interpretation of it, but I do respect the fact that they're being true to their own muse and to their own style of music. Heather, what do you think about this?
I think what, for me, makes a great cover song, honestly, Father Malone kind of nailed it, is that if somebody's just doing a straight cover, that's fine if you're at a kegger or something like that. But if you want to make something interesting, if you want to make good music, yeah, make it your own. Otherwise, it's just kind of regurgitation. And that can have various shades. Some bands can kind of do a deconstruction, reconstruction, say like The Residents did with Satisfaction. You could do something that's slightly less deconstructed, but still reconstructed, like Devo's version of Satisfaction.
That was when you said that, that's the first thing I thought of. They did that, and they did Are You Experienced, which was also a departure from the original. But I love their versions, and it's not so far afield, but it definitely is unmistakably a Devo song, I think.
Yeah, no, they're both great. But the Residents cover of Satisfaction's even more just like it's like emerging out of the primordial soup of sound, and I love it. So yeah, for me, just what makes a great cover song, just what makes a great song. Is it a great song? Does it move me? Does it make an impassioned imprint? There you go. But what about you, HP? Yeah.
That's totally, I concur with everything you're saying there. Like I'd said earlier, I do think I love hearing somebody's, like I said, following their musical sort of muse and making something interesting out of it. When I in college, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but in college, I was the music director at the dorm radio station where I was living. And one of the best things about it was every day I would go to the post office and just literally have a stack of records and CDs, that record labels, they thought that we were actually like broadcasting beyond the confines of the dorm. So they would send us all kinds of promo stuff. And it was always the cool part for me. One of the cool parts for me was oftentimes you would get a CD single of whatever the current artist was, and they would always have a B-side, or a lot of them would have a B-side where it would be them covering a song or something that wouldn't have appeared on the album. It's just in the days before that became like a usual practice. Like on Spotify, you can find all this stuff now. But at the time, there was a little bit of cachet in discovering it and kind of this exclusive little club of being at the radio station. And I loved hearing an interesting cover of something that I wasn't aware that they were even a fan of the artist in question. One of the things I remember best is there was a label, I don't know if they're still around, called Alternative Tentacles.
Oh, hell yeah, they are.
Jello Biafra's label. And as kind of a commemorative thing, they put out a CD called Virus 100, which was a CD full. Are you guys familiar? I see you nodding a little bit. Did either of you, are you familiar with the CD in question?
Oh God, that name is so familiar. I feel like I've either, at the very least, I've heard of it. I'm not sure.
So it was a CD basically of nothing but tribute songs or cover songs of the Dead Kennedys by like a whole slew of artists. Everybody from Faith No More was on it. L7. There was a band that was really popular at the time that I like called Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy. They did an amazing cover of California Uber Alice, which I thought was fantastic. I actually liked it better than the original. But that was a good example of something that was like a treasure trove of cool covers. I was like, this is amazing. So that always excited me just as a listener, as someone forming my musical tastes at the time. I loved it to hear a cool cover of something that was kind of far afield at the time, because everything was about alternative radio at the time. So cool. I also wanted to bring up a little bit this idea of cover bands versus tribute bands. I have of late, I love going to see whatever tribute band is playing, because what I've discovered is if they're really good and can reproduce the original, it's fantastic. But if they're really bad, with bad wigs and bad stage setup and bad everything, then it's almost even better. Better. It is even better. Now, this is a slightly off topic from cover songs specifically, but we're talking about bands that kind of make it their career or their side career to cover an artist. Now, cover bands versus tribute bands, how are they different or alike, if at all? I'm going to give it to you, Heather. What do you think?
I think it depends on the venue.
In
the band, because I've seen, the reason I say that, because I've seen, I mean, at least on the bills, there's a band in my area that's a tribute band to Sublime. And people love Sublime, got the nostalgia factor. And I don't know this band personally. I'm hoping this is like a labor of love. But cover band, tribute band, if it's like a venue, especially like in a college town where it's like a popular bar kind of venue, then they're kind of one of the same, because you're going to be seeing a cover band regardless. But if you say it's a tribute band, then you're just a cover band that's dedicated to one artist.
But isn't Sublime itself kind of a tribute band at this point, or a cover band, since Brad Noel has been dead for how many years and they have a guy who sounds just like him?
Yeah, but I mean, you could say that about any number of older bands touring to some degree. I mean, like Leonard Skinner showed up like recently locally, and I'm like, who the fuck's even Gary Rossington just died? I don't know, it's a bunch of whatever. But so for me, like, I would be more impressed. I feel like if you're a tribute band to say like the Shags, that's something that's not going to get as many asses in the seats. I mean, you'll get me for sure. I would go see that because I love the Shags, but that's like a deep cut enough to where it's okay. That's a labor of love. This isn't just so people can sing Santeria while they're drunk on their 8th Michelob Arita or whatever.
Michelob Arita.
But I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I'm open.
Well, it's interesting because I just heard from some friends locally here that there's a band that we've known about for years, and I'm guessing you guys have already heard of them. They're called Max Sabbath. Have you guys heard of Max Sabbath?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They've been around for years.
Yeah, they've been around for years, but they haven't really, they're coming here. They're going to perform in Worcester. I don't know. I think actually Halloween, I think they're coming, which is an exciting prospect. But you're talking about bands that kind of dedicate themselves in an interesting or offbeat way to the music. And I can't think of anything more offbeat than a McDonald's themed Black Sabbath tribute band, which I think is its own thing. I mean, they're doing Black Sabbath covers to be sure, but I think the lyrics reference Grimace and the Hamburglar and the rest. But no, like I said, a fan of going to tribute bands. I mean, the thing of it is, like, these bands that are being paid tribute to, they're many times, there's no way you're never going to see Jim Morrison perform with the Doors, but you can go see the Crystal Ship and get 60% of the way there, and it's an interesting time. What are your thoughts, Father Malone?
I have seen Crystal Ship. Look, the differentiation is pretty simple. A cover band does songs from many artists, and a tribute band is dedicated to one artist alone, right? So, yeah, Crystal Ship. Remember that Kiss band from the movie Tribute?
He was singing his notes all off key. The vocals were just terrible. He's up here and all this bullshit.
But here in Vegas, we got a band called the Spasmatics. They're like an all 80s sort of new wave band. There's a yacht rock band out there now.
Yeah, and there's Yacht Rock Review also that I've seen them around here as well. And that's to your point, they're not just doing yacht rock, they're performing like all sorts of weird things that I may not get behind, but people go crazy. I mean, they did, last time I saw them, they did like a Britney Spears song and people went nuts. And I just sat there shrugging like, why am I here? This is not good.
Did you yell out "poser" at them? Sell out.
You suck.
You sellouts.
Play Breezin' by George. No, I didn't get into that. But no, but look, it's performed well. I mean, there's a place for that, and the place was packed. People want to go and they want to hear what, in some cases, I think they just want to hear what they know and not be challenged as an audience. And someone like Yachtly Crew, or a band like Yachtly Crew or Yacht Rock Review or any of these, that's perfect. It's just a night out where you don't have to think too much, I suppose. So
in Los Angeles, when I was living there was an artist named Elvez.
I love Elvez.
I'm familiar with Elvez.
Shit. Yes. You ain't nothing but a chihuahua.
You ain't nothing but a chihuahua, yapping all the time. You ain't nothing but a chihuahua, yapping all the time. Where's you ain't never got to do the latest, no bigger than mine.
See, now is that a tribute band or a cover band? It blurs the line like head of stress.
Yes, well, Dred Zeppelin, like you mentioned.
Oh my God, I've seen them too. They're fantastic.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So I do like it when people kind of do that kind of smearing of the edges. Yeah, Elvez is great. He also has done some work with Alice Bagg from the Baggs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. And Chihuahuas are amazing.
HB, I would like to propose a third category between covers and tribute bands. Professional artists who've made their careers effectively being cover artists. I mentioned her before, Miss Linda Ronstadt. Very few original songs, Miss Linda Ronstadt. Nevertheless, every single one of those songs that she's covered belongs to her. I'll also say, now they have many, many more original songs, but the Cramps, they had me bamboozled at their length and their varied choices of rockabilly relics to cover, and they've got a lot of originals that rank as my favorites. Garbage Man, Like a Bad Girl Should, and Bend Over All Drive, but just as many are as covers. Like Green Fuzz, Goo Goo Muck just got really popular because of that Wednesday show. That's a cover song that they did. Rockin' Bones, it goes on and on and on.
No, and I'll go a step further and say, I think if that in the categorization, I think Elvis Presley is exactly that. He may be like he's the king anyway, but he might be the king of that because his strength was he knew good material when he heard it. So he was very good at picking things that, well, for the most part, I think Colonel Tom maybe got in the way a little bit of some of it. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to think of an artist whose interpretations are considered like the definitive version. When you think of Blue Suede Shoes, I'm sure some people will think of Carl Perkins, but I wager that most people, when they hear Blue Suede Shoes, are thinking of Elvis swiveling on stage. That's my opinion. Heather, I see you want to jump in here.
You know who would be thinking of Carl Perkins? That was Joe Strummer. For anybody who's seen Jarmusch's Mystery Train.
Oh, yeah.
Holla.
Yeah.
So. Sorry. Yeah, the Cramps, I think, are a perfect example of that. I was thinking about that earlier today because it's like there are some artists that are so transformative where that's them. I mean, Yeah, sunglasses.
Songs that they didn't write, they might as well have. They interpreted them in such their own way.
Oh my God. I mean, when a band can cover Hazel Adkins, who is a singular and amazing artist in and of his own category, and still you're like, that's a Cramp song now. That's the power of that band.
They can cover Ricky Nelson and make what is a terrible song a good song.
Oh my God. Agreed.
Right on.
Also, the Cramps have my favorite album name of all time, Rockin' and Reelin' in Auckland, New Zealand.
My God, I quote that album title all the time. People ask me, how are you doing? And I say, I'm rocking and reeling in Auckland, New Zealand. And nobody fucking gets it.
Well, they're fools. So
exactly. It's my little snobby litmus test of, are you cool?
We all got one.
Indeed. Excellent. So let's move into kind of the meat of where we're going with this. I want to talk about
the gristle,
the grit and the sinews of where we all feel
the meat from the bone.
There you go. We're going to get into our favorite cover song. I want to start off with, I know you're excited. I know you're both excited, but I can see Father Malone's excited. Father Malone, why don't you talk about your favorite cover song and why?
My answer to this is easy because it's like when people say to me, what's your favorite movie? The answer is Dawn of the Dead. George Romero's Dawn of the Dead just spills out. So if you were to ask me what my favorite cover song was, I Fall to Pieces by Michael Nesmith. He's covering Patsy Cline.
I fall to pieces each time I see you again. I fall to pieces. How can I be just a friend?
It was the first time that my young brain fully grasped the idea of recontextualization of a song, specifically along gender lines. Klein's version is stripped down. It's just bass and a piano and a guitar. But of course, she has that voice, right? What else can you say?
You want me to act like we've never kissed. You want me to forget. Pretend we've never met.
It's a fragile and tender notion of a song. It's a song from the jilted lover's point of view, where not only is it, I don't want to see you again, it's, you're going to have to see me again, and you're going to have to deal with it and pretend like it never happened. And what better voice than hers to deliver that? Because she makes it very feminine and very or at least what is traditionally thought of as feminine. But the actual best female version of the song, by the way, it goes to Linda Ronstadt. If you haven't heard her version of it, it is superior. I'm sorry, Patsy, but Crazy is still great.
And I tried, but I haven't yet. You walk by and I fall to pieces.
Anyway, so Michael Nesmith, or should I say Michael Nesmith and the First National Band, this is their version of the song.
The Loose Salute album.
Right, or the Tax Dodge album. Mike Nesmith had $1 million he was going to have to give to the federal government, or unless he used it for a artistic endeavor. So he hired every session musician he knew and paid them overtime for a week and made this album. And now most cover versions of the song, they adopt the same sort of stripped down version to support the lyrics the way that Klein did. But here with Nesmith, it's the opposite. It's still country. It's got a cascading pedal steel riff running through it, and it's pretty bouncy. But Nesmith is a kind of a counterpoint because he's singing in his high, lonesome style, the almost yodel version of Mike Nesmith's voice.
But each time I go out with someone new, you walk by and I fall to pieces. You walk by and I fall to pieces.
Hearing that made me think, and this is true now, it's a perfect exemplar of why people need to shut the fuck up when it comes to popular culture mixing up things on racial or gender or sexual lines. Because someone will be struck by a piece's intended emotion in a way they wouldn't have before. Hearing Michael Nesmith singing with such desperation and longing, buoyed by carefree rhythm, it taught me things about heartache and the fact that it won't heal sometimes. And there's a dumb nobility that comes with maturity that I'm sure most female listeners were already acquainted with. But Nesmith and his version of it made me see it in that way. Okay, now here's the thing. I started looking at other gender swap songs, gender swap cover songs. You've got Jolene by the White Stripes covering Dolly Parton, Joan Jett doing I Love Rock and Roll. That's right, it's her. That's a cover. Me and Bobby McGee is a cover. Janis Joplin covering Roger Miller because he was the first person to record that. Nothing Compares to You, the late great Sinead O'Connor covering The Family. They were the actual first band to record that one. I also go to I Drove All Night, which is Roy Orbison covering Cyndi Lauper. And Cyndi Lauper is where I'm ending here because her second album has a couple of covers on it. But When You Were Mine, Cyndi Lauper covering Prince, turns out that's my favorite cover song of all time. It accomplishes everything I just said about the Nesmith tune and a lot more. When You Were Mine, Prince's version is from his 1980 album, Dirty Mind. It was a B-side on Controversy. It never made much of a splash. Prince said it's his take on a John Lennon tune. It's an open chord, strumming, banging. I think there's a drum machine on there. Prince is doing his own backups.
Girl, when you were mine, I used to let you wear all my clothes. You were so fine, so fine. Maybe that's the reason that it hurt me so. I know that you're going with another guy. Don't care, 'cause I love you, baby, that's no lie.
Viewing it through the lens of what I just said about I Fall to Pieces, Prince's version sounds like someone who has reconciled their emotions about the situation they're in. It's another breakup song. Even if he's still feeling pangs of longing, it's like he's fine and he's going to be fine. Lauper's version, on the other hand, is completely the opposite. It's glossy and it's got a big drum machine, but her vocals are low and emotional, completely the opposite of what Prince does. It's someone still in the throes of a breakup. The melody isn't any less buoyant, but it's darker. And she does something, by the way, that makes me love her. She doesn't change the pronouns.
I know that you're going with another guy. I don't care, 'cause I love you, baby, that's no lie. I love you more than I did when you were mine.
Most people, when it's a gender swap song, will change the pronouns, right? Joan Jett did it. Bow Wow Wow did it. Linda Ronstadt does it frequently. Not Lauper. It connects directly with what the whole gender swap, the appealing facet of cover songs is. And now it gives an even further perspective to that song because now there might not be a male gaze in it at all.
I'm gonna jump in a little bit here, talk about my favorite cover song. My favorite cover song is Walk On By Isaac Hayes, which is off of Hot Buttered Soul, 1969. But to be honest, I was first introduced to it because it was on the soundtrack to a movie called Dead Presidents, which I think was late 90s. I don't have the number here, but I believe it was late 90s. It was used in the trailer, and it was so dramatic that it kind of captured my attention almost immediately. So the song itself, the original, was of course written by Hal David and Burt Bacharach in 1964, and it was performed by, again, another Warwick appears on the show here. It's Dionne Warwick in this case.
Walk on by, walk on by. Make believe that you don't see the tears. Just let me grieve in private, 'cause each time I see you, I break down.
To be honest, it's flawless. It's a tight 3-minute pop song, fairly breezy. There's a lightness to it, but there's this darkness that's nibbling at the edges. Warwick always seemed to me to be tougher than the lyric indicated. Like she's ready to move on despite the words of the song about just, if you see me being sad, just walk on by, just make believe everything. But what Isaac Hayes does is nothing short of magic. He goes full dramatic. Isaac Hayes' delivery leaves no doubt that the narrator is crushed by this breakup.
So just let me grieve in private, 'cause each time I see you, I just can't help myself. I think about how tight we used to be. I break down and cry. Oh, baby, walk on by.
It's slowed down. It doesn't move as briskly or as with the lightness of the original. It is dark from the get-go. There's this wonderful solo guitar running through the whole thing with this tremolo. It's performed by a guy named Harold Bean, who was later to work with Funkadelic. And he contributes this incredible searing solo that just kind of brings the thing to a crescendo at the end. Of course, the rest of the band, it's the legendary Bar-Kays backing him. So you know it's going to be a heavy piece of music anyway. And the length of the track, it really takes the listener on a journey, because it starts out in the depths of despair that Isaac Hayes summons up with the power of his voice and rejection. And it takes all the way through this amazing, it kind of builds up, then kind of comes down again. And at the end, there's this amazing buildup and release through this mind-blowing funk rave up that the song just kind of ends with. I think the vocals of the song, I think, are probably over with in about 5 or 6 minutes. And the second half of the song is just the band going to town on this amazing song that Burt Bacharach and Hal David wrote. In short, what I love about it is that Hayes honors the sentiment of the lyric, but as we've been talking about through the whole episode, he really makes it his own. It's hard for me to conceive of a song that is so radically different in form and function, but still honors the sentiment of the song itself and what the song is all about. And even now, it blows my mind to listen to it. It's just such an emotional experience to listen to it. In the spirit of it takes all to make a world, let's go to your part of the world, Heather. Let's educate us on your favorite cover song. What is it?
Some of my favorite covers, it was so hard to pick just one because there's so many good ones. For me, a lot of my favorites tend to have an almost like alchemical reaction. When Roland S. Howard covers the old standard She Cried, which is a song I normally can't stand and find very just kind of obnoxiously sappy, he makes it moving and just gives it such soil and earth and heaviness, like scar tissue as a song. It's beautiful. There's Laibach, the great Slovenian industrial band, who have done a number of great covers, including Sympathy for the Devil and Queen's One Vision. They make it completely their own. They took Opus's song Life is Life, which is a very like rah, 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 very kind of chintzy AOR song, and completely transform it. It's fucking brilliant. Judas Priest doing Diamonds and Rust, the Joan Baez song. I'm not a Joan Baez fan. I respect her. It's not my flavor, but Rob Halford's vocals on that, it's a gift. It's a gift. The Circle Jerks doing Golden Shower of Hits, where it's a medley. Fucking awesome. Come on. Keith Morris singing Having My Baby. So good. But, yeah, of course, I could go on and on. Bajas doing Telegram Sam, or Ziggy Stardust, or Third Uncle. Cherry. Chef's Kiss. Like perfection.
All wonderful.
All of
yes,
them,
but what is your all-time favorite, though?
Wait, hey, I'm getting there. But Malone got to give us this amazing monologue.
Hey, I wasn't pressuring you. I'm encouraging you.
Yes. There's one song that instantly comes to the front of my brain, and it's got to be the Dictators cover of the Stooges' Search and Destroy. I love Stooges. Like any punk rock person worth their salt, come on, it's the Stooges. Respect your elders. I fucking love eating the Stooges. And the original Search and Destroy is great.
I'm a streetwalking cheetah with a hat full of napalm. I'm a runaway son of the nuclear A-bomb. I am the world's forgotten boy, the one who searches.
But where where Iggy singing that to me sounds, and it's part of the brilliance of that song to me, when he sings I'm a street walking cheetah with a heart full of napalm, there's something to almost sound, he sounds like a G cheetah, like one that's been through some shit, like he's like walking wounded, but that's part of the beauty of it. But when the Dictators do it, it's got such a ferocity, got such an attack to it, such a power. Handsome Dick Manitoba is not a walking man wounded. He is a one-man army of rock and roll, fist punch, gut kick, bar fight, bravado.
I am the world's forgotten boy. The one who searches to destroy. Honey, I am the world's forgotten boy. The one who searches only to destroy.
Love it. I think the Dictators as a whole are a tremendously underrated band. I think everybody in that band's a fucking player. Ross the Boss really shredding it on the guitar. Like his approach to guitar is great. Richie Teeter's one of my favorite drummers and singers and bands. He doesn't get enough love. But anywho, yeah, the Dictators make Search and Destroy, which is an iconic punk song, and truly make it their own. And when you can do that and get the iconic song, you get iconic on your level and your terms.
All right, so let's shift gears, and I think this is the part that I think we all secretly enjoy more than the most favorite. We're talking about our least favorite song. Father Malone, why don't you kick this one off as well?
It's very difficult to choose. There are just
So many bad ones.
like 99% of them are just god awful.
Yeah.
I was leaning in the direction of a cover song that was foisted upon us, the listeners of the world. Like we heard it a lot, right? Like you could not get away from it. So it isn't necessarily some niche cover song that some idiot garage band did of some great song that they had no right to cover. Initially, my choice was that Lady Marmalade they make with Christina Aguilera and Maya and Pink and Lil Kim. Okay. It was really oppressive when that song was popular, and it is a terrible cover of the song. I don't need extra notes in the tune, and I love Lil Kim, but actually Lil Kim's part was pretty good. The rest of them, though, were suspect. But I can't say that song is as disappointing as Rob Zombie's cover of Blitzkrieg Bop. Now, that actually is kind of a niche album. He released it on like Past, Present, and Future when it came out, but it was initially for a Ramones tribute album. It seemed like a natural song for him to cover.
Let's go! Let's go! The moment in the straight line. You're going through a tight one. You keep the listen that mind. Let's speak.
The Ramones weren't filled with melody, let's say, but he did have it. It was there. Joey could carry a tune. And what Rob Zombie has done is so it's all rhythm. The entire song becomes a chant, and the chant just says to me, turn off this radio. All the fun of the Ramones is gone. What's weird is Rob Zombie has a sense of humor. Like his music has always struck me as kind of funny underneath. And this is a humorless, bloodless, awful rendition. It sounds like warm-up music for robots.
I agree. My Las Exorcisto, the White Zombie album, came out when I was in college, and I thought that was a really funny album. I mean, the way that he used the samples, there was a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, but I can't say I followed his career like very closely, but what I have heard, it feels like as time has worn on, I think he's become a little more humorless. At least that's my impression.
Oh, you know what? Because he's got a song called Mars Needs Women, which was great, or Everybody's Fucking in a UFO is a recent song. Like, he's still very, very funny, but It's just this somehow, like it was oil and water or something, because it, like I said, sometimes what seems like an obvious thing is not a fit at all.
Was that album called We're a Happy Family? I'm trying to remember.
You're right. That Ramones tribute album is called We're a Happy Family, and the whole thing is garbage. The first track is by Garbage, but the entire album is garbage.
Heather, help me out here. Let's go into your least favorite cover song. I can't wait to hear what you got.
Originally, I was going to go with Limp Bizkit's cover of Behind Blue Eyes, which is a complete, utter atrocity. And I believe it was on the soundtrack for the Holly Berry Baby Gothica. And it almost felt like low-hanging fruit. So that's my runner-up pick, because there was something far more offensive to me that absolutely, just anytime I hear it, it makes me want to pee suit. And that is No Doubt covering It's My Life. The original by Talk Talk is a beautiful fucking song. Mark Hollis was brilliant. That voice, those lyrics, that song, the original version, actually, honestly, it makes me emotional hearing it. There's something just so, I don't know, like pure, plaintive about it. And, I'm not even going to pretend to know exactly what the original intent behind the songwriting was, but like every time I've heard it, even when I was a little kid, it just felt like something like the feeling of being trapped in a world where you're just fight for any kind of autonomy, any kind of visibility. Something so incredibly beautiful and sincere about it and raw.
How much do you commit yourself? It's my life. Don't you forget. Counting the crowd. It never ends. It's my life.
And No Doubt's cover, it's like having Kids Bop do like the Velvet Underground. It's so fucking wrong. It's awful. It's like a Stepford Wife cover. It's hollow, it's soulless, it's fangless, it's bloodless, it's gutless. I fucking hate it. I have more respect for a Bratz doll that has been shit upon in a fucking cow field than I do for this bullshit. I think No Doubt should be ashamed of themselves for this cover. It's a cash grab. I mean, it's whorishness at the only kind of worse whoring than this is what we see from politicians and CEOs.
How much do you commit yourself? Who is my life? Don't you forget. It's my life. It never ends.
So yeah, I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. The video is equally plastic and bullshit. The original video for Talk Talk's original version is heavy. I don't know. It makes me think, just what have we done to this planet? It's sad for me, but it's beautiful because it makes me feel like great art makes you fucking feel. And yeah, I feel when I hear No Doubt's cover, I feel like taking a complete shit out of hate because it's awful. It's a fucking awful cover. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I'm someone that tries to fit in things. Because to be honest, I couldn't even think of many. I can think of way more covers I love because I'd rather gear my brain towards what I love than what I hate. But you know what? I got a duck. Gwen Stefani, no. This band, no. I say no to No Doubt.
Is that your opinion of them across the board? Do you not like No Doubt in general?
To be honest, like I was thinking about this. When I first heard I'm Just a Girl when I was a teenager, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. This is like nice to hear some righteous, like, anger, and it was poppy and it was cute. And it was just kind of downhill from there. But the only song of their catalog that I hate almost as much as this one is Speak. That drives me fucking crazy. And I can't with that. But I don't hate them as much as I hate their cover of punk. Like, I'm okay with them fouling up the landscape on their own terms. But covering Talk Talk, I mean, Roland S. Howard covered Talk Talk, and that was beautiful. Because Roland S. Howard's a real artist. And he's R.I.P., like, fucking just beautiful. I'm not a big fan of No Doubt. I don't hate their other stuff, but I don't really listen to their other stuff. I don't really listen to this, but this one was forced down our throats. And even occasionally I'll hear it like Walgreens or somewhere like that.
It was a big hit for them. It might have been their last big hit. I don't know for sure, but it was omnipresent. And I think the real shame of it is it strikes me that a lot of people probably don't even know that it's a cover. They probably just assume that this is just another No Doubt song because it sounds like every other No Doubt song from that period. But it was huge. I mean, I guess the difference here with a lot of our picks, I think, is that was a real big hit for them. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that No Doubt put out an album called Rocksteady without any Rocksteady songs on it.
Yeah. And it didn't rock, nor was it steady.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I fucking, and no, you're right, HP. I know that. But it makes me sad. And I cannot stress enough to people, intellectual curiosity. I know people are like, oh, it's generational things, but to some degree, I mean, shit, come on. Don't settle for less in this life is what I want to tell anybody listening to this. You're a beautiful person, not just because you're listening to us, but just you obviously love art if you're listening to three people talk about it. Don't settle for bullshit. Okay.
And it's interesting because just a quick little side trip here. What you're saying about, you kind of got into a thing here, both of us did, about understanding what's a cover and kind of taking the time to maybe search back a little bit. I didn't make this my favorite cover, but it was kind of an honorable mention. And I have to mention on that note, the song Police on My Back by The Clash. Clash are no strangers to good covers. They covered a lot of reggae artists, and that was kind of it was one of the great things about the band is that they shone a light on all these artists that maybe the average Clash listener wouldn't have any awareness of. I love that song, Police on My Back, but I had no understanding until I looked into it a little bit. That song was written by Eddie Grant. Mr. Electric Avenue wrote Police on My Back, which is an incredible song. It's cinematic, it's righteous, it's rocking, it's great, but
Real I'm running, police on my back. I've been hiding, police on my back. They were shooting, police on my back. And the victim really won't come back. I've been running Monday, Tuesday.
I'm in the minority, but knowing that the Clash had this reputation for covering amazing reggae songs, I took the time to research that and kind of try to understand a little bit where these songs come from. It doesn't mean I like the originals any more than the cover. In fact, this case, I prefer the cover, but I think that's a danger with some of these cover songs, especially ones like It's My Life, which is a huge hit, are people taking the time and the diligence to try and chase up the original? Maybe they learn something.
Actually, I think there are probably more people than we realize that do that. It's always kind of one of those things where you could be in a field of beautiful flowers, but if there's like one piece of trash, your eyes are going to focus on the trash. So not that I'm saying people don't know, like sometimes, I mean, there's obviously things we're all learning. So I'm not judging anybody who might not know that, but I am judging No Doubt for raping this perfectly beautiful song. And I hope that Mark Hollis's ghost haunts everybody involved.
Oh, I love you. You've left no doubt about your true and actual feelings on this, and I love that. That's fantastic.
It's science.
That's so it's going to be hard to follow that. That was awesome. Mine's maybe my least favorite cover song. I'll go into mine here. Now, the difference is, the original, I'm not a huge fan of the original. I'm just going to say that right off the top of the bat, right off the top. I'm not a huge fan of the original. It's a fine song. It's not my favorite, what have you. But when I think of my least favorite song, and I actually searched back and thought about it, it's a little bit of a twofer. Now, my least favorite cover song, and you guys might even remember this, is Baby, I Love Your Way by a band called Big Mountain. Now, the original was, of course, written by Peter Frampton. It was released in 1975, and the most popular version was off of Frampton Comes Alive, which is omnipresent.
Ooh, baby, I love your way every day. wanna tell you I love you every day.
Now, the Big Mountain version, and I see Father Malone nodding there, it was probably most notably, it appeared on the Reality Bites soundtrack in 1994.
Was that what it was from?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that where I know it from? Is that the track I was skipping all those years?
Yes, 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 and yes. Now, the production, let's just start here. The production is just textbook.
Oh my God, I'm now having flashbacks, HP. God damn it.
Trigger warning.
Ugh.
Ooh, baby, I love you every day. I wanna tell you I love you every day. Yeah. I wanna be with you night and day.
This was a
I'm
tough
changing
one.
my answer.
The production is just textbook 90s. Everything is so shiny and polished to a too fine sheen. There's zero soul in this version. There's zero. Now, just being a reggae version, there's zero authenticity in terms of the reggae. If you told me this song was programmed with no actual human intervention, I would believe you. This song just sounds like someone punched a bunch of data into a computer and hit a button, and this is what it spit out. The video, which the members of the band all look like they went to the party store and they found like generic Rasta man costumes, like these sort of like caftans and what have you, to wear for Halloween. It's just a riot of bad decisions all around. And now, look, say what you want about the original Peter Frampton version, but it moves with ease. It's a nice mellow slice of 70s mellow rock. It's fine. It's inoffensive to me. But this was just an affront on so many levels. And it was this was a big hit on MTV for the Reality Bites movie and for the soundtrack by extension. Right? I'm sure Father Malone, I can see him still shaking his head.
Yeah, you're right about this. I hate this song. It's like whatever slight charm there is to the original Peter Frampton thing, what you mentioned, HP, the overall 70s-ness of it, the freewheeling, sitting on the back of your pickup truck, drinking Jack Daniels at sunset nature of that tune becomes this faux reggae version. You know what it reminded me of, for fans of the movie Ghost World? Blues Hammer.
Oh my God! It's total Blues Hammer.
All right, people, are you ready to boogie? Because we gonna play some authentic, way down in the Delta blues. So get ready to rock your world. I'm in picking cotton all day long.
You know what? This is, by the way, HP, this is a superb pick. Because, yeah, this is awful. I'm like you. I'm not even that big of a fan of the Frampton. It's fine. It is what it is. It's fine. I know nothing against it. But, oh my God. But it actually makes me think, do you guys remember this Unholy Medley cover song from the late 80s where somebody took Freebird,
in fact,
and they merged it with...
with
Baby I Love Your
Yeah.
Way?
That was the twofer. I said it was going to be a twofer. That was the second part of my least favorite cover. But yes, we'll piggyback on what you're saying. It's by a band from 1985 called Will to Power. And they did It's Baby I Love Your Way with interpolation of Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. And the sound of it, I mean, we talk about like lack of human intervention. The sound reminds me of if you go to the Blues Brothers, the Armada room at the Holiday Inn, and there's like a duo performing with nothing but a drum machine and a keyboard, and they're just kind of doing medleys of bad songs or whatever while you're sipping your watered down whiskey.
Wanna be with you night and day. Hey, yeah. I love your way. If I leave here tomorrow, will you still remember me?
Ugh, yeah, no, it's bad. It was tough for me to choose between the two because they're both equally awful and like wretch-inducing. But yes, I'm so glad you remembered that, Heather. Kudos.
How could I forget such a horrible thing? I mean, to the point where this is a bad joke alert ahead at 3, 2, 1. when you're thinking that the plane crash was the second worst thing to happen to Leonard Skinner.
Oof. Oh boy.
I kid. I'm sorry. It's a good thing I don't believe in hell, but
Yeah.
But it's a joke. Come on, I have done nothing. The true enemy to the legacy of Leonard Skinner was done by whatever iteration has been touring for the last 20 to 30 years. So, OG Leonard Skinner's good, for the record, but it's certainly better than Will to Power. Lord, and that 80s production.
It's just awful. It's chilling how bad it is. Talking about the good, the bad. Now we're going to talk about the inessential. What's the most? Now, this is a song, just to differentiate between the least favorite. This is a song that is not offensive necessarily. It's a cover that leaves you scratching your head saying, why did they do that? I'm not offended by it. And I don't think this is an affront to to all that is good. And it's like, why did they do it? Heather, what's your pick for the most inessential cover song?
Well, my pick, and this was partially inspired by a conversation I recently had with our beloved Father Malone. And it's got to be when Motley Crue covered White Punks on Dope, which as you guys know, as anybody that knows me knows, I'm a massive Tubes fan. Legit was a member of the fan club. I own everything on vinyl as well as CD. I'm a massive fan. Motley Crue, especially after re-listening to No Doubt's cover of Talk Talk, which that may have colored my perception, because I even re-listened to the White Punks on Dope cover. After hearing No Doubt, that shit sounded like a banger, to be honest, but it's fun. It's actually a straight, pretty faithful cover. If I was there live, I would be like happy to hear it just because it's so cool. It's in Tubes.
All the dudes are living in the ghetto. Born in Pacific Heights, don't see much better. We're white punks on dope. Mom and dad live in Hollywood.
To be honest, is it essential? No. Does Motley Crue really have... Because the Tubes are so great at having that kind of subversive humor and satire all throughout their discography. White Punks on Dope's definitely part of that. The only time Motley Crue's ever actually funny is when it's unintentional. I mean, this is a band that gave us such song titles as First Band on the Moon, Treat Me Like the Dog I Am. And of course, I mean, if you guys want to hear some real comedy gold, I believe it's off Generation Swine where Tommy Lee does a song called Brandon. Yes, it's Tommy Lee singing, playing the piano, singing about his then newborn son, Brandon. And it's literally a line going, Brandon, she is your mom, like that. It's fucking awful, but I laugh every time. It's awful. So Motley Crue are funny when they're not trying to be funny.
Well, and they have a history of, I mean, they did Smoking in the Boys' Room, of course, and they also did Anarchy in the UK, I believe,
which
right?
That was not a good one. That their Anarchy in the UK cover honestly could have had some potential to be on my worst, but Smoking in the Boys' Rooms.
That song actually was almost my worst.
Yeah,
no. Anarchy in the UK. I think musically that song sounds okay as a cover. It's a heavy hard rock version of that tune, but Vince Neil singing about anarchy? What are you kidding me? You guys are everything anarchy isn't. All you want to do is sit around and get drunk and bang chicks. But you need structure for that, boys. You don't want the government to fall. You're lying.
I would actually love it if they did a song about causing a riot at Cheetahs or
Gazaris.
Oh my god. Fucking Gazaris.
Odin.
Yeah. Odin, no!
Odin!
Oh my God.
Oh, I love that movie.
But no, I will say, and this is something we talked about too, the cover of Helter Skelter off Shout at the Devil, I think is actually a really good cover. Spoken in the Boys Room, I'm not even the biggest fan of the Brownsville Station original. I do like Brownsville Station and mad respect for Cub Coda, R.I.P. But yeah, the cover of White Punk's on Dope, it's fine. There's a live version on YouTube that's pretty decent. That's the Samantha Maloney era, who I think was a really underrated drummer. Tommy Lee's great as a drummer, though. God, don't date him or let him sing about his children.
Father Malone, let's move on to you. What's your most inessential cover song?
What's funny is, I don't know why this is. I have a list that was difficult to choose from, but for some reason, the majority of which were heavy metal covers of non-heavy metal tunes. Just oddly, it all seemed that way. Like, for some reason, most heavy metal covers of regular songs just don't work for whatever reason. Motley Crue is on my list 3 times for their 3 covers. But also on the list is Land of Confusion, Disturbed covering Genesis.
My God.
There's too many men, too many people making too many problems, and there's not much love to go around. Can't you see this is a land of confusion?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
They thought they were making it hard by making it all choppy and chunky with guitar bursts and shit. Genesis is already hard, son.
Ooh, Superman, where are you now? When everything's gone wrong somehow. The men of steel, the men of power, losing control by the hour.
There are lots and lots of inessential heavy metal covers, but I hope this qualifies, HB. I ended in a very, very weird place. The most inessential cover song for me of all time is Bobcat Goldthwait covering U2, With or Without You, at the end of his comedy sets.
I remember that they had the strobe light and he like slicked back his hair and put the
And then he
vest
would
on.
go, at near the end, he would go during the instrumental part, he'd go off stage and get the flag and come out and wave it around.
Well, it was his bid to do like when Andy Kaufman would do Elvis. But the difference was Andy Kaufman's Elvis, everybody who saw it agrees that was the best Elvis impersonation they'd ever seen. So I think that was his kind of bid to be a little edgy and be like Andy Kaufman, to blow people's minds that he's so good.
I thought he did sound a lot like Bono, though. I thought it was a good impersonation.
But it's self-indulgent, I think.
That's my point. Who was asking him to do that, and what was the purpose, and how did it end his comedy set? That's what was confusing to me. It just felt self-indulgent. Don't get me wrong. I love Bob Goldthwait. I adore Bob Goldthwait. I love
absolutely.
Movie. I've loved his comedy. His weirdo routine that he used to do, I love that too. But this thing felt odd.
Better fancy and away you. With or without you. With or without you.
To your point, Heather, he actually did a pretty okay job as Bono. But at the end of the day, we're left with the question of why, which I think is central to all of these inessential cover songs. Along with that, I'll give you another great segue. Here's my pick for an inessential cover song. My pick is, and this comes off of an album of cover tunes. So almost anything off of this album could have made this list. The song in question is White Lines, Don't Do It by Duran Duran off of their 1995 album of covers called Thank You, which is maybe ironic. It was originally released. It was Melly Mel did it, right? Written by Melly Mel and Sylvia Robinson, released in 1983. And the Duran Duran album, Thank You, includes other such inessential covers as 911 is a Joke and Watching the Detectives, of course, Elvis Costello's incredible Watching the Detectives, maybe my favorite Elvis Costello song. The original White Lines is chilling. and it's propulsive and it's edgy.
Ticket to ride, white line highway. Tell all your friends they can go my way. Pay your toll, sell your soul. Pound for pound, costs more than gold. The longer you stay, the more you pay. My white lines go a long way, either up your nose or through your vein. With nothing to gain except killing your brain.
And I still get chills listening to it because it's so of the moment and so raw. The cover is way too slick. It's way too glammed up to ever read as cautionary in any way, shape, or form. And oddly, the presence of Melly Mel on the track just underscores the fact that this version is not even close to the standards of the original.
$multi-million, almost overnight. Twice as sweet as sugar, twice as bitter as salt. And if you get hooked, baby, it's nobody else's fault. So don't do it.
It's competently performed and produced. It doesn't offend my sensibilities. Again, I greet it with a shrug saying, why bother? The original was just so incredible. And if you're going to do it, I don't know. It raised too many questions in my mind. And if I'm going to listen to it, I'm going to listen to the original. There's no reason for me to go back and listen to this Duran Duran.
Have you heard the bonus track off of that album? At least the one I heard, which is a cover of Diamond Dogs.
I did see in my research that it was I think there was a Japanese edition of the album, and I saw that, and I said to myself, well, I can't listen to this. I love Bowie, and I love Diamond Dogs, and I don't want to jeopardize my pick for the least favorite cover song, so I just left it be. I'll see it someday. Maybe I'll listen to it someday, but
I don't
like I said,
I don't think it would have knocked your least favorite out of contention. But it very well would have been high on your list of inessential. I guarantee you that.
To be fair, I like Duran Duran. I don't hate the band.
Who doesn't? They're awesome.
I love Duran Duran.
They're fantastic. I'm not coming down on the band. I even like later period Duran Duran, I think it is fantastic. I think the fact that they still continue to tour and sound as good as they do is a credit to what a great band they are. But this album, they missed the mark. I think it's perhaps noble that they wanted to make an album of covers of bands that have influenced them in some way. But it was a head scratcher for me. It was an easy pick for the most inessential cover song.
I think I want to do a cover album called You're Welcome. I do think an interesting, like a counter album to that, even though, I mean, it's all cover songs for different reasons, but Tori Amos's Strange Little Girls album, I think, is a really interesting cover album. I don't think every song lands quite as hard as you want it, but the ones that do hit hard are really, really good. And it's an interesting album because she's basically almost like approaching it like prose. And it's bands, everything from Slayer and Eminem to like Patti Smith. It's a cool album.
The more essential album than this album, sort of.
I would agree. 100%.
Yeah, and even if I think of other albums that are just straight cover albums, my mind, again, because of how much of a Bowie fan I am, of course, Pinups is all covers. And if I'm being honest, they don't all hit the mark, but some of them are great. I love his cover of Sorrow.
With your long blonde hair and your eyes on me, the only thing I ever got from you was sorrow.
At least it's interesting to me because he still kind of had the fragments of the Spiders from Mars. I think Mick Ronson was still performing with him. So it was kind of the last gasp of that period of his career. But he kind of went out with an interesting curio. Like I said, it's not essential necessarily, but his heart was in the right place and some of them are really good. So you can do a tribute album or an album of covers. It doesn't have to be like, didn't Scarlett Johansson do one of Tom Waits?
Oh my God, didn't she? I'd like to say one more thing about Duran Duran, if I may.
Of course.
Warren Cucurullo. Any chance to say his name?
Come on. Or to quote, or how Del Bosio says it in Catholic Girls, Warren Cucurullo.
That will do it for this episode of Noise Junkies. And now let's go around. Heather, when people aren't enjoying your musical picks, where can they find you on this worldwide internet web thing?
Well, I actually recently was on an episode of the Culture Cast with our wonderful friend, Chris Dashew, and our brother in arms here, Father Malone, where we talked about Alan Parker's Angel Heart. So check that out. That's on Weirding Way Media even. You can find me via my link tree, which is /Mondo Heather. You'll find my website, my Patreon, and all other related sundries.
Fantastic. And how about yourself, Father Malone?
Go to fathermalone.com to get all of my visual nonsense. And if you want to hear my audio nonsense, go to weirdingwaymedia.com. You can hear some of the shows I do over there, like Midnight Viewing, the Night Gallery podcast, or Dark Destinations. It's a half-hour radio drama I write and produce.
Fantastic. And as for myself, I'm also proud to be on the Weirding Way Media Network. Primarily, you can hear me on the Night Mr. Walters Taxi podcast that I do with yours, here truly, Father Malone. I've also been on the Wolf and Raisin Banachek podcast. If you want something a little different, a lot different, you should check that out. Appearing occasionally on the Culture Cast, and also things here and there, a little bit of music, a little bit of so-called acting on Dark Destinations, which is my favorite of the Father Malone podcasts. So please check that out as well. So for myself, for Heather, and for Father Malone, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.